it's Lena with The Growing Gardener. I just wanted to make some kind of a video. My garden is looking particularly lovely today on this warm spring feeling November day. And it's been way too long since I made a video, and I just am having increasingly less and less time to edit and make them nice like I'd really like to, but I can still get on here and make a quick little video while the kids play their iPad and show you what's going on in November. Let me switch it around. So I have moved a lot of buckets and stuff up against the playhouse. Thought it might be fun for the kids to play inside and have some kind of a vine growing up over it. And for some reason, this Malabar spinach didn't do as well as I thought it would. Could be my brown thumb, but it did start to grow up there. I'm actually not as impressed with the flavor as I thought it was. When it's really young and fresh, it tastes just like spinach, but as it gets older, it gets slimier and a little bit more sour, so I really haven't found a use for it, and it's also not doing as well as I thought. So neither is this bean, sunset runner bean, I think this is. This thing is like 2 months old and it's not very big, hasn't flowered yet. This one has a flower, so I might have some beans in a few weeks. My cilantro is very, very slow going. I'm not sure if that's normal or not. I've got a random broccoli plant over here, and they're not getting as much sun as I'd like. The house is really shading them as the sun changes for the winter season, so they might not grow very well, but I have to keep them here because they're on the automatic watering system that I have running here. Here's the blueberry bush that took a beating with the summer heat. Most of its leaves are curled. Look at this marigold. I transferred my lemon balm and mint into this container because this bin has the best soil, apparently. Everything loves this. And these were in tiny little pots and they were getting crowded, so I moved them over here and just figured I'd let them take over because I'll probably use a lot of them for tea. And there's a basil. Here's a kale. Sorry about that. Here's my sad zucchini plant. It made me one zucchini, and then a chilly night killed off most of its leaves, but the plant will probably come back. It just won't make some zucchinis for a while. I have some peas that are taking a while to get started, get going. There's one pea plant. I think that might be a sweet pea, just a flowering pea. And then over here is a sugar snap pea. Come on, light. There we go. There's a sugar snap, and then over here is a cucumber I was trying to get started. I might have to cover it up on the cold nights to keep it from dying like that zucchini did, because they prefer warm weather. But I didn't know that a 39-degree night would kill off some of the leaves on that zucchini. It was my only plant that suffered. Shadow. I moved a marigold over here into my hanging basket along with all that alyssum. There had been a tomato in there and it was pretty much done. My flower bed is kind of boring right now. This plant makes some beautiful daisies, but I've been harvesting them all for my kitchen table, so there. Makes some beautiful flowers. I'm not sure what this is, but I'm sure it'll be beautiful when it blooms, maybe next spring. Not sure what that is. It's very flat to the ground and splayed out. These are going to be Sweet Williams, and they didn't bloom this year, but they should bloom next year. So this bed, we got an automatic watering system put in and everything, and it just failed to thrive. The soil. I did an experiment with some tomato sprouts, and I planted some in some of this soil and some in some Miracle-Gro potting soil, and the ones that were in this soil just did not grow. They'd grow to a certain point and then they would stop, and they just, everything in this soil grows to a certain point and then stops. I'm not sure what that means, but I kind of abandoned it due to lack of money and ambition. I have plans, if I were staying here, which I'm not sure if we will, I would put in a compost layering system. Here is my pride and joy, my swimming pool, my baby swimming pool that is looking good. Look at all that lettuce growing. We're gonna be eating this a lot, hopefully over the next few months. In the middle is a worm bin, and there's lots of compost in here. Look at all these lettuces. This is a basil that I saved out of that dying garden that I just showed you. There's a kale. Here's a random bean that Max wanted to plant one out of the pinto beans in our cupboard. So these are the result of that, to show him that beans from your cupboard can grow plants. These are my strawberries. Round 3, I think. They're ever-bearing, but they actually flower and fruit in waves, and this is their 3rd wave this summer. This is a yummy pepper plant that is about to set flowers for the 2nd time. They make big, long, sweet peppers that I like to fry. They're good. Here's an example of, I even tried to amend this soil, but I planted radishes and they just grew to a certain height, and now they stopped and they're starting to turn yellow and stuff. And I have beets over here, but they're even smaller and punier. This bed is looking good. There's a beautiful purple basil and purple alyssum, marigolds. Trying to find places for all the broccoli I started. Since I'm not using that middle bed, I ran out of space, so I put one over here, and there's a random kale left over from spring. I put that in here. Down there is some thyme and some sweet williams in here, some green onions. Here's an experiment. I'm layering kitchen scraps, brown material, and then soil, and then kitchen scraps, brown material, soil. So it's kind of like a compost bin, but I planted my potatoes in there. So as they grow, hopefully I will keep layering more kitchen scraps, brown material, and soil, and hopefully as they grow up, they'll feed off of that compost and produce tubers, and they should be ready around March. They're russet potatoes from our cupboard, so I hear they take a while. And I just wanted to show you guys these peppers. I know they're nothing impressive. They're tiny. They're little jalapenos. They're tiny. But last year, I couldn't grow. The last 3 years I tried, I could not grow a single pepper, even a jalapeno. So this year, this is my success story. I have pepper, I have jalapenos, I have some serrano peppers over here, and look at all these bell peppers. I've got, and they're not big either, but I'm happy with them because they exist. I think my biggest ones are over here. And I have Sugar Rush peach peppers. The plant had a really rough start this spring, but this is its 2nd round of peppers, and it's covered. It's really tiny bush with tons of peppers on it. There's another broccoli plant. cinnamon basil, which smells amazing. Smells just like cinnamon. Another broccoli. Here's a really crazy little cucumber. The plant itself is struggling so hard, but look at that tiny little cucumber on there. Some more beautiful alyssum that's been going all summer. And then this tomato plant. I just wanted to say this tomato plant, I planted in February. It's a determinate mini bell tomato, so it's supposed to grow to a certain height. And at one point, it started to die back, and I trimmed back all of the leaves and branches that were dying, and it came back with a whole new plant. And it has been producing fruit almost non-stop all summer. So just because something is determinate doesn't mean that it's going to die when it stops making fruit. I mean, it still has a lot of life in it, even now. Look at all that. Look at all that new growth. I even see flowers on it still. Look at this. There's still a flower on it. There's fruit all under here. I'm having a hard time keeping it supported. It's the only tomato plant that really thrived this summer. All of my indeterminate tomatoes died and hardly gave me anything. And this one tomato plant is still cranking out the tomatoes. Look at that. There's another sunset runner bean. I have a few peas back there. This is my very pitiful okra plant that has just barely been hanging on all summer. Don't know what's up with that. They're supposed to be easy to grow. And that's about all I can fit in my garden right now. But now that it's not 117 degrees anymore, I'm starting to enjoy it again. All right, well, thanks for watching. I know it was quick and I could go on and on about all my gardening adventures and failures, but I got to end it somewhere, and I got to get back into my kids. But thank you so much for watching, and maybe I can do a few more of these quick tours throughout the season. Have a great Thanksgiving. God bless.